What are the most common marketing planning mistakes that marketing leaders need to learn how to avoid?
When the planning is done by senior stakeholders, they just hand it over to the execution team. The only update they get from the execution team is in form of reports. The number one thing you need to understand is your execution team do not have the right skill set, proper understanding of how the tasks and the activities align with your marketing strategy. So you have a marketing strategy that was handed over to the execution team. Those execution team will get situations where they realize that things has changed, but there's certain things that happen when campaigns are being executed. A new competitor comes into play, something happens. Those marketing execution teams do not normally have decision-making authority to move budgets around. You have instances where some senior stakeholders have strategic skills, but they do not have execution skill. You as a marketing leader need to rely on the recommendations of your execution team. That is one mistake you need to avoid. You need to avoid a situation where there's misalignment with the planning and then the execution. Those needs to be aligned. And one of the effective way to align is to have regular execution meeting with senior stakeholders and the execution team. You have the situation, the senior stakeholders go into their little bubble and have their meetings, and they leave the execution guys to have their meetings, and then you have the execution guys saying the senior guys are out of touch, and then the senior guys are saying my team doesn't know anything, and off they go to an agency, and this vicious cycle just continues. So the first mistake to avoid is not paying attention to your execution team. The second marketing planning mistake to avoid is not paying attention to content. I've worked with organizations in the past and I've seen situations where an entire marketing function that involves quality acquisition, different functions within the business, and you look across the board and you do not have one single content designer or content production individual. It blows my mind, because when you don't pay attention to content production from a quality standpoint and from a variation standpoint, your marketing planning will suffer. And you have situations where companies will focus heavily on tweaking paid advertising, tweaking other paid media, hoping to get results. But one thing that always stays constant is the quality of the content. Where your paid advertising lands and your SEO lands, it's still the same. So you're changing everything, but you're not changing that content that evokes and provokes emotion for customers to either buy. You need to pay attention to your content production cycle. So the second mistake to avoid is not paying attention to your content production. The third marketing planning mistake to avoid is a disjointed way of working. The ways of working in a marketing team, it's organic, it's not planned. And this goes back to the team structure. This goes back to the team design. So if you go into any marketing team, it just creates itself naturally. Leaders coming in, creating roles, creating function, someone complaining about workload, roles split up. So marketing ways of working is not planned. It's just putting a bunch of people in the marketing team and let everybody run with their thing. And you have a situation where you then start having silos because it's not planned. You have SEO working separately, you have paid working separately, social, content, website maintenance, and there's still no structured ways of working. Marketing execution is like a marathon. SEO and paid search do their marketing strategy in isolation. In the real world, you need to have both in the same room when they're creating the marketing plan. You need to have social, you need to have content, you need to have email. And in some organizations, the ways of working is impossible because the team are structured under different leaders. And you have marketing activities that should be under one single individual, under two individuals. It makes it difficult because to work effectively, people will step on each other's toes. And the way teams are remunerated and promotions are done is done on an individual basis. You have people, organizations sometimes saying, oh, give shout outs to people. That kind of encourage individual accolades. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with individual accolade, but marketing is a team sport. It's never down to one single team. It's a team, it's a multi-team effort, and the effectiveness of those handoff across teams. So my recommendation is to create and be intentional about designing a way of working that integrates multiple teams talking to each other, working in collaboration. They can still be in different departments, but the ways of working needs to be swim lanes across, and it needs to be tied to specific important revenue focused KPIs. Another mistake to avoid is unclear marketing segments. You have, let's take for example, a landing page. A segment of the traffic coming to that landing page is coming from a highly targeted paid advertising campaign. And then you have that same landing page getting traffic from organic. And then when you look at the conversion on both, you're going to have problems because that page in itself is receiving traffic from two segments that have different intent. One has a very tailored, specific intent for conversion when it's paid advertising, and then the other could have awareness, could have non-transactional traffic landing to it. What I'm trying to say in this example is you then have that situation where you're trying to measure the performance of that landing page in a funnel. So when you have unclear segments and you have unclear journeys mapped out, it's a problem. So this is another marketing mistake you want to avoid. But this is one way you can avoid wasting your marketing budget when you have specific targeted campaigns. Another example is where you have segments of your customers that have higher purchasing power and higher propensity to buy. How do you tailor your email campaign, your landing pages, your post-purchase campaign, your acquisition, your brand to those targeted segments? So this is one mistake that I've seen where organizations believe your marketing can be structured in a way to talk to all your customers at the same time. Different messages apply to different segments. Another marketing planning mistake to avoid is ignoring qualitative insights. What I mean here is there's an over-reliance on quantitative data, analytics information that tells you the what, and less reliance on the why. If you look at senior stakeholders asking for insights and data, all they're asking for is analytics data, less about qualitative voice of the customer insight. We're hung up in a situation where you have a crappy website creating crappy insights from a quantitative perspective. But when you add qualitative insights to it, the actual voice of the customer, it makes sense because the customer will tell you what they want and what makes them convert. And it's a lot easier for you to see on your website that those informations don't exist on your website. Another thing to avoid when you're making your marketing planning, another mistake to avoid is not paying attention to post-purchase customer journey experiences. Once you get the conversion, that is not the end. because we all know that it is less expensive to get new customers through word of mouth and referral than through paid advertising. So if you pay attention to your post purchase journey, do whatever you can, create a strategy around customer experience to nurture people for repeat purchase, to become brand advocates, then you're going to have the best success. For you to create an effective marketing plan, you need to have a list of questions. I'm not talking about a marketing planning model. It's a list of questions, a list of scenarios that talks about your situation analysis. Where are you now? Where do you want to be? And how do you get there? So reach out to me and we'll have a one-to-one session, and I would rely heavily on your subject matter expertise, because you know your customers better than Google, better than anyone, if you've been listening to them. So working with me, we can come up with an effective answer and list of activities that will help you achieve your strategic marketing objective. Reach out to me. Thank you.